In this lecture, we are going to talk about priority queues. So, priority queues, it is a data structure which is used to maintain a set of elements, and associated with each element we will have a key value which is nothing but the priority of that element. We are going to discuss the implementation of priority queues with the help of the heap data structure. Since heap, we can either have a min heap or a max heap. Here we are going to discuss the implementation of priority queues with respect to the max heaps. Accordingly, we will discuss the implementation. You may have an implementation corresponding to min heaps also, which are being used as priority queues. So first function which we are going to discuss is an insert function. Insert s comma x, that means we are having an existing heap s and we are trying to insert a new function, new element into it, that is x. Extract max from s, that means we have to remove the element which is having the maximum priority in the existing heap s. Maximum s, this function will only read the maximum value and return it back. Then we have increase key function. This function will increase the value of an existing element, let's say x, to a new value k in the heap S. And the assumption is the new value k should be greater than or equal to the existing value x. So let's have a discussion of these functions one by one now. So heap maximum, its task is to return the largest element which is existing in a heap. So it's a simple function. We all know if we are using a heap data structure and if it is a max heap, then maximum element should be present at the root node, because max heap, that means the parent value should be greater than either of the children for each and every node which is a part of a heap data structure. So if based on this condition, the maximum element should always be present at the root node. So if we are starting the heap from index position 1, we will return the value stored at position 1, that is A1. If you are using the 0th index of the array, then accordingly you will return the A0 element. And as you can see, this is the constant time function. So the running time of this function, it comes out to be order of 1. There is no loop, nothing. Next we have heap extract max. So the task of this function is to read the maximum value which is existing in the heap, and we have to delete that value from the heap also. So the basic idea to implement this function is we have to execute the single iteration which we had performed during the heap sort. That is, exchange the root element with the last element existing in the heap, reduce the heap size by 1, and then we will call the maxcpfi function at the root. So if I look at this particular example, and if we execute heap extract max function over it, what we will do, we will replace this 7 with 2. Then we will reduce the heap size by 1. So basically right child of 4, it gets eliminated. And then we have to call maxcpfi function at the root, whose new value is nothing but 2. So what maxcpfi will do, it will compare 2, 4 and 3. Because 2 is going to be the new root, so it will compare 2, 4 and 3, exchange 4 and 2, then 2 comes at this position. Maxcpfi will be called again because there is an exchange, then 2 and 1 will be compared, and then we have to stop as maxcpfi will not be called again. So if I look at the code for this particular function, then we will have something like this. We have heap extract max function which is accepting an array A which is being used as a heap. So first we have to check if the heap is existing or not, because if heap is not existing, then we will not be able to delete anything from it. So we will check if heap size is less than 1, then it's a condition of underflow, we have to stop. Otherwise, we will take a variable, let's say max, we will store the value of the root element into it. Next, root has to be replaced with the last element of the heap, reduce the heap size by 1, and then we have to call max cp5 at the root. Once the execution of max cp5 finishes, that means the array A is in the state of a max heap data structure, and then we will return the maximum element. So as far as the complexity of this algorithm is considered, you can easily see that line number 1 to line number 5, they are constant time operations. And return max, it is also a constant time operation. So overall, the complexity of this function, it depends upon line number 6, where we are calling the max cp5 function. And max cp5 at max, it will take order of log n amount of time. So accordingly, the running time of this function, it comes out to be log of n. So let's say this is an example and we are going to execute the heap extract max function on it. So the moment I call max extract max function, the first step will be I have to store this root element somewhere. So we have used max in order to store the root element, which is 16 in this particular case. Next step is I have to replace this 16 with the last element of the heap. So we will get something like this. In place of 16, we have 1 now, and we have also reduced the heap size by 1. Now we have to call maxcp5 function at the root. So what this maxcp5 function will do, it will check 1, 14 and 10. The largest comes out to be 14. So 14 is going to be the new root. As you can observe in this figure, 14 gets the root value now. Now 1 will get at this position. Max CP5 will be called as there is an exchange. So 1, 8 and 7 will be compared. Again 8 comes out to be the maximum. So 8 will be used for the exchange with 1 now. So we will have 8 at this position. Now 1 has reached at the position of 8. Now 1, 2 and 4 will be compared. Largest comes out to be 4. 4 will be exchanged with 1 now. So finally 4 comes at this position and 1 will reach the leaf position. So with this we have executed the heap max extract max function on the given heap. Next function is heap increase key. That means we are trying to increase the key value of an existing element in a heap. So basic idea is we are allowed to increase a key value only if it is greater than the existing value. If it is not greater than the existing value, then we cannot increase, we are not going to replace it. And it is based on the simple concept that we can only increase the priority of anything, but we cannot decrease the priority. So for example, if we are trying to replace this 4 with 15, the first step is we will check if 15 is greater than 4 or not. Since it is greater than 4, so 15 is going to be the new node value here. And the moment I replace this 4 with 18, you can easily observe that this part is going to violate the property of max heap because 8 is the parent. 8 should be greater than both of its children. So 8 is greater than 2, but 8 is not greater than 15, which is the new node value after the replacement. So what we have to do after the replacement, just check the value with its parent. Since 8 is less than 15, we will exchange 15 and 8. Now 15 value, it will be compared with the new parent. So 15 and 14 will be compared. Since 14 is less than 15, again there is a exchange. Now 15 reaches at this particular position. Now 15 will be compared with the new parent, that is 16. So 15 is greater than 16? No. So we will stop. So this is what the concept behind heap increase key function. In order to implement this concept, here is the code. So we have a function heap increase key. it is accepting A, which is a heap. I, it is representing the index whose value we are trying to replace with a new value given by variable key. So first step is we have to check if the new key value is greater than the existing AI or not. If it is greater than, we are allowed to replace. If it is less than, then we have to show an error. So assuming if key is greater than the AI value, we have to simply replace AI with key, and then we have to keep a check of this AI with its parent. If parent value is less than AI, we have to exchange, and accordingly I have to move the I one level up by updating the value of I to parent of I. And we have to keep on continuing this process till we reach a root node, which in this case we are assuming is stored at index position 1, or we have reached a situation where the value of a parent is greater than the child. So if either of these two condition falsifies, then we have to stop. Otherwise, we have to keep on doing the exchange and updating the I to parent of I. Again, if we talk about the running time of this function, then line number 1, 2, 3, they are constant time operations, but line number 4, here we are executing a while loop. So in the worst case, what we can do, we will start from the leaf node. We will increase its value by something which is greater than the root node. In that case, we have to traverse the tree completely from the leaf node till the root. So in other words, what we can say, we are traversing the tree completely from root to leaf. That is height of a tree, and maximum height of a heap is never going to exceed a factor of log n because it's a nearly complete binary tree. So let's say we have an example something like this, and we are trying to increase this value of 4 to 15. So in this particular case, this I is nothing but equals to 9th index position. So we are actually trying to replace A9 with 15. So first step is we will compare if 4 is less than 15 or not. Since 4 is less than 15, so we have to update the value. So after the update, the heap gets converted to this. Next step is we will check if I is equals to 1 or not. So in this case, I is equals to 9, which is not equals to 1. Also, parent of I, it is stored at index position I by 2. So 9 by 2 will give us 4. So at index position 4, we have 8. So 8 is less than 15. Yes. So what we will do, we will exchange these two values and also update I to parent of I. That means I will be updated to index position 4 now. So we will have something like this. Now again while loop gets executed, we will check if I is equals to 1 or not. Since I is equals to 4, so first condition is satisfied. Also parent of I. Now I is equals to 4, so parent comes out to be at an index position I by 2. That is equals to second index position. So at second index position we have 14. So 14 and 15 will be compared. 14 is less than 15. So swap and update the value of I to I by 2. So accordingly we will reach this position. Now again I is equals to 1. No. Is parent of I, which is 16. Is it less than 15? No. So we have to stop. So with this we have completed the execution of heap increase key. The last function which we are going to discuss is max heap insert. That means we are provided with a heap and the task is we have to insert a new element into the existing heap. So the idea is very simple. What we will do, we will increase the heap size by 1 and put a minimum value at this new index position. And then we will call the heap increase key function in order to replace this minimum value with the actual value to be inserted, which in this case is 15. So Here is the implementation for this function. We have max heap insert function, which is accepting A, which is an array for heap, and key is the new value which we are trying to insert in the existing heap A. So first step is increase the heap size by 1. Initialize the value at this position, that is heap size, to any minimum value. It's theoretically we are initializing it to minus infinity. And then we are calling heap increase key function on the array A, which is nothing but a heap. We are calling this function for an index position heap size, and the new value we are trying to insert, that is key. So again, if we talk about the running time of this function, then line number 2 and 1, they are constant time operations. So the overall complexity of max heap insert actually depends upon the complexity of a heap increase key, and we know the complexity of this function is order of log n. Accordingly, max heap insert is also having the complexity of log n. Let's take an example now. So let's say this is the heap which are existing, and now we are trying to insert a new key value 15 to it. So first step will be we will increase the heap size by 1, and then we will initialize it to the minimum possible value. Then we have to call heap increase key function on the heap size, that is 11, and we have to call this function for the newly inserted value, that is 15. So since this is the minimum value, it is less than 15, so we will replace this minus infinity with 15, and now as the heap increase key gets executed, so it will compare 15 and 7 first. So 7 comes out to be less than 15, so exchange. Now the new parent of 15 comes out to be 14. 14 and 15 will be compared. Since 14 is less than 15, so it's an exchange again, and finally 15 and 16 will be compared. So 16 is greater than 15. We have restored the heap property. So we will stop. So this is the execution of max heap insert. Now we had already discussed the building of a max heap with the help of a function build max heap. So another way in order to create a max heap from the given unordered array is by calling the max heap insert function again and again. So kindly note in this example, corresponding to the array shown with each figure, we are only showing those elements which are forming a heap at any moment of time. Other elements, they are also existing, but just for clarity we are not showing it in the diagram. Otherwise they are actually existing in the array. So initially we have single element which is in the heap, so it is a heap in itself. Then we will insert 3. So insert 3, 3 is less than 5, no exchange will happen. Continue. And then we will insert 17. 17 will be inserted as right of 5. And 17 is greater than 5, so we have to exchange. And then max heap insert, it has reached the root node, so the function will stop. Then we have to insert 10. 10 will be inserted as left of 3. So 10 is compared with its parent, that is 3. 3 is less than 10, so we have to swap. So accordingly, this is the final structure after the insertion of 10. Then we will insert 84. 84 will get inserted as right of 10 first. 84 and 10 will be compared, so 10 comes at the right, and here we will have 84. Now 84 and 17 will be compared since it is greater than, so again a swap will take place. 17 will reach at index position 2 and 84 becomes the final root. So we have this structure. After 84 we have to insert 19. So 19 will be inserted as left of 5. So 19 and 5 will be compared and exchange will take place. So this structure, it will remain same after the insertion of 19, but 19 will reach at index position 3 and at index position 6 we will have 5. So you will have something like this. Then 6 will be inserted as right of 19. No change will take place. Then 22 will be inserted as left of 3. So 22 and 3 swap will take place. 3 will reach at this position. 22 and 17 will be compared. Again an exchange will take place and you will get this structure. Next we have to insert 9. 9 will be inserted as right of 17 and that's it. No exchange will take place because 9 is less than 17. So this is another way in order to create a max heap using max heap insert function. So you can either use the build max heap or this procedure in order to create a max heap or a min heap according to the implementation of build min heap or mm, min heap insert functions. Here is one more example. Here we are using a character. If a character is appearing in a sequence, that means we are executing the max heap insert function. And if a star is coming, that means we are executing the extract max function. So the question is, you have to execute the sequence completely and at the end you have to tell what are the final contents of an heap. So the complete solution for this sequence is here. Try to execute it at your own end and get the final answer. The final answer should be a single element E. And in case of any doubts, do share it with me. So with this, we have completed the discussion of heap data structure and here are a few applications of it. We all know heap is commonly used for the sorting as well as for the implementation of priority queues. So all these applications, they are nothing but using the concept of priority queues in their intermediate stages. So if we talk about the graph algorithms, then there are several graph algorithms where we have to pick either the minimum element or the maximum element at any moment of time. So the moment I say pick the minimum or pick the maximum element, so in order to store those set of elements, we will use a priority queue concept because that is the best way to get the minimum or the maximum element out of a set of elements. So in order to get the shortest path, we have to pick the minimum element each time, so we can use the priority queue. Similarly, if I talk about Prim's algorithm, it is used to compute the minimum spanning tree. So here also the task is we have to pick the edge with the minimum weight value. So again, priority queues can be used. Then there is another algorithm which is used for data compression known as Huffman coding. Here the task is we have to pick two elements having minimum frequency value in each iteration. So again we have to pick the minimum element. We can use the concept of priority queues. And if we talk about operating system, then priority queues are popularly used at several places. So the overall, if you are working with any application and the task is you have to pick minimum or maximum at any moment of time, then the best data structure that is available is priority queue. And priority queue, it is efficiently implemented with the help of heap data structure. Hence, the applications are many. So that's all for the heap data structure. Thank you.